Hey guys, we're doing something a little different today. Taking you along for my morning walk, just to mix it up a little bit and not be sitting at the desk all day today. So I usually walk about an hour in the morning. If you didn't know, if you're new to the channel, now you do know. Usually the channel's focused on eBay stuff, thrift stores, and my gaming and toy collections and stuff like that. Just very lighthearted stuff. We're coming up into yard sale season here and that's going to segue us into the topic. Kind of had a little epiphany on the weekend. Tim and I went out to thrift stores. We did our usual little circuit. We mostly go looking to collect. We're not really like big resellers. I sell stuff on eBay, but it's just more of a hobby to help me with increasing my collection, not spending a lot of our regular income on it, which I usually never do anyways. But that's besides the point. Dave usually goes with us when he's not umpiring and stuff, but he's been a little under the weather this week, so wasn't able to go. I'm sure he'll be back in the saddle soon. Too much Arby's in my opinion. Whatever. We'll get right into the topic of today's video though. I honestly think these thrift stores are gonna die. And I think there needs to be some sort of reset from the big box thrift stores and going back to charity thrift stores mostly. Morning. I have been for about 3 years.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little channel, so. The way that things are going at these thrift stores, they're going to end up pricing themselves out of the market. And really, the two sets of clientele I would say that go to these places are people looking for a deal and people looking to find a deal to resell. At some point, the prices are going to get so high that neither will buy there anymore, and then they are going to have a big problem. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, they get the stuff for free. Yes, they do. However, they are giant stores. They have tons of overhead. They pay their CEOs millions. The amount of employees working in these stores is quite high. There's a lot of processing. I know they give maybe like 10% of weight value or something to, like, I think the Diabetes Association up here. I'm not too sure about in the USA and stuff like that. You have to ask yourself, if they do alienate resellers and people looking for a bargain at some point, who's actually going to go to these stores anymore? At this point, I just look at it as a trip out to hang out with the boys, or, you know, Marla and I will go and look at some old vintage stuff as, like, you know, oddities and stuff, but we're not really going into specifically purchase anything. And if these stores become strictly a novelty, I don't know how they'll stay in business, guys. You have to understand, guys, with the rise of Facebook Marketplace, people know the value of things now. It's not so easy just to go and get people to donate their junk for free and get rid of it. Unless they're really wanting to declutter, they're 100% going to put some of that on Facebook Marketplace now. And you can definitely notice the quality of items at this place. For the most part, it is dog shit now. I see like ripped polos and sweaters, like their name brand, but they're, you know, they got stains or there's piling on them, but they're still asking like $20 for them. I'm sure there's pockets in the US that are cheaper here. Again, you have to remember, I'm in Ontario, Canada. Nothing is particularly cheap here, and it probably never will be again. You know, if I see a Tommy Hilfiger shirt for $20 that's got stains and rips on it, or I see a Walmart polo pullover t-shirt, whatever, for $10 or $5 in the clearance bin, yeah, it may be of a bit lower of a quality, but it's still brand new, and I could buy like 3 or 4 of them for the same price. And that's what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't care. I never really was one for name brands and stuff like that. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's all made in China anyways. It's shit. Like, who gives a crap? I just don't think they're sustainable in the long term. The more people wake up and the more knowledge there is about the price of certain items, they will quit donating stuff to these thrift stores. Like, you go into ours now and the video game section has like 10 games in it, and they're all like scratched to crap or stuff that we would call shovelware that's worth $5 and less, and they're charging $5 for them. They're just not, there's no value there. You might get lucky with some of the little bag toys, or find an old vintage toy that slipped through the cracks and they didn't know what it was and price it accordingly. But for the most part, I don't know, man, it's just crazy now. Like, nothing is a good deal. There's no bargains anymore. It's really depressing. Like, when Tim and I went out, we were just saying to each other, like, what, it's been 5-6 years since you could go into these thrift stores, and, you know, if you needed a couple Xbox controllers, well, you could pick them up for $5 each, you know, or if you needed some PlayStation controllers or AV cables even for some of these systems, you'd go in and pick them up for a few bucks, you know, maybe $4 for the Xbox, power adapters and stuff like that. But now, like, you see an Xbox power adapter, it's $15 or $20. It's like, well, you can buy a 360 for that much on Marketplace, so why the fuck would you pay $20 just for the power supply? It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I don't know who's in charge of pricing at these places and that, but it's really gotten so out of hand that it makes it not as enjoyable anymore. And I know you're gonna say, well, you're reselling your product. I really don't resell much at these thrift stores, guys. Like, we joke around when we go in. We might see some like toys or something, or some vintage toy that, you know, if it's worth 80 bucks and it's like 5 or 10 bucks, we might grab it for the heck of it, you know. But we're not going every day. Like, I'm lucky if I go once every like 3 weeks maybe to a thrift store. I'm not out there every day doing it. But again, yes, I would say that maybe I am part of the problem, but I much prefer going to yard sales and just meeting people face to face. They're trying to get rid of stuff, and it's a good deal for them. It's a good deal for myself and whoever. And they're getting cash. There's no government taxes. There's no middleman on that. Everybody kind of wins. Just depends on your perspective, right? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having a used store and making money off it and stuff. I get it. Everything's capitalism. It's just the way it is in the world. But I hate that these big companies just pretend that they're doing it all. Like, they act like they're charitable organizations, and most of them aren't. And you have to understand, when you're donating to these corporations, all you're doing is making the corporation rich. Honestly, if I were you, I would not donate to any of these big thrift stores. Donate to your mom and pops. Like, that's what I do, guys. We have a little community thrift store here. I donate all my stuff to that when I have an excess. And I feel good about it because I know it's staying in the community. Like, it's a local church group. You know, there's no big CEO making tons of money or anything like that. It goes back into the community when you donate. You know, I buy stuff from there, and everyone wins in that situation. Sometimes I go in and get deals, not often, but once in a while I do. And then the profits they get from everything that's donated, it goes to less fortunate and stuff in the community, and it's great. But when you donate to like a Value Village or Tully's, that money, it's not staying in the community. Yeah, they'll give like any portion to charity per pound or something. I believe it's around 10 cents. Other than that, all the money just goes into a giant corporation, and, you know, it goes to the shareholders, and they get the money for it. And yeah, I don't really understand how this model has been sustained so long. It really doesn't make any sense to me. I think when they started out, people just weren't aware of what exactly they were donating to. They just assumed it was a charity. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get attacked. Vicious doggies. Anyways, even when we were in school, I was under the assumption that they were charitable organizations, and no one really looked into it or thought none the wiser back then, honestly. And then as you get older, you find out, it's like, holy shit, these are just big companies, man. They're just getting stuff for free from people and selling it. Like, how easy is that? I don't understand how people still donate to it. I think the only benefit now is you might get a coupon for 25% off or something. Like, for instance, when we were in there the last 2 times, and I think we went twice in the past 2 weeks just on Fridays for something to do, the price of the clothing is absolutely insane, guys. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, the shirts and the pants, like, you know, you might see like a Roots sweater in there and it's like 30 or 40 bucks. It's like, yeah, Roots is an expensive brand, but I would rather spend an extra 20 and get a new one. Like, these things aren't in like primo condition. Like, jackets, like the shoes are absolutely ridiculous. If there's any tiny little thing that's like a name brand, they're just asking an exorbitant price. And I'm not totally educated on the clothing and stuff prices. I really don't know what they go for, but I really can't see you being able to like eBay a Tommy Hilfiger polo shirt for like $30, especially that's really worn, like, I mean worn out. What I do know is electronics and video games. So when I go in and I see a copy of like Mario and Duck Hunt for like $20, I know it's absolutely ridiculous. It's pie in the sky. Like, you can go to a game store and get it half that. And we've seen lots of box video games in there, and it's usually the shovelware type stuff. And they're still asking, like, you know, I'm gonna say over retail for them. It's craziness. And my next thought is, I wonder who's actually buying this stuff at that price, because most normal people that know what they're looking for, like, if I'm a game collector, obviously, so I know what I'm looking for when I go in. I'm not gonna pay like more than what I can buy it at a mom and pop game store. It's stupid. I'd rather support the game store anyways. Like, do they sit on the shelves for a while, then they just put them online or something, or do they go to another store, or they go to bins? Like, I wonder if they move it, because I know up here we don't have Goodwill bins, and if you're in the United States, I don't know about abroad, maybe my followers in Australia or UK or Europe or something, if you guys have those bins, let me know. But I see lots of like YouTubers here, like Harry Tornado and stuff, they go to these Goodwill bins and the stuff is like, you know, $1.85 a pound, and now that's a good deal. You know, that's what they should be doing. Then everybody wins, then everybody kind of wins a little bit. Everyone can make some extra money if that's what you're doing. And if you actually need stuff, like honestly, like that's the way to get it. It's cheap, especially if you need clothes, man. Like $1.85 a pound. Like you could obviously probably get a couple t-shirts for that or something for $1.85 or $2. That'd be great. But I really do wonder why they don't have those up here in Canada. There must not be as big of a demand to move cheap junk or something. I don't know, but I have never heard or seen those. The only bin stores I've seen are people buying pallets from Amazon and putting them in bins for like $5, $10, $15, $20 bins. And they're not really a good deal anyways. It's all Chinese shit, guys. Like, you know yourself. And I don't really mean to ramble on about this stuff, guys, but it really does piss me off. It's just such greed in that. And no, I'm not being hypocritical. I'm not a big time reseller. I don't go to these stores every day and buy a bunch of shit and try to resell it and that. Like almost anything that you see me buy at those thrift stores to try to sell and make money is everything that I bought at those thrift stores and trying to make money. I think the last thing I bought at a thrift store to make money was a Walkman that I paid $5 for. I think I sold it for $40, and that was the thing I bought in the past 3 or 4 months, I think. And the only other thing I can think of is a vintage dinosaur I bought from the 80s. I forget even what it's called, and that's something where if I don't end up selling it and I have to keep it, I don't care because I'll put it in my collection, right? Like I don't go out purposely looking to buy and sell. And honest to goodness, eBay is dog shit right now, so I think people aren't just buying that much stuff, so I don't think it's a wise business model at the moment. If you're killing it on reselling, you can absolutely let me know, though. I'd be glad to hear. It's just I know up here things are not good in Canada. Definitely our economy is sluggish. People don't have a lot of disposable income for this stuff. Me personally, I've been more looking towards auctions and doing like more household stuff, and that I find that selling a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I still sell movies and games. I usually sell a few a day no matter what on eBay, but I haven't bought any of that stuff since last summer basically, especially movies and video games. I'm just letting the stuff I have dwindle down because I have way too much. Which brings me on to the next point. I will be doing a live stream on Saturday. I think it's Easter weekend, which is this Saturday coming up. So I'll upload this probably tomorrow, which brings me to this. I will be doing a live stream on Saturday. It'll be the Easter weekend Saturday. I don't know when it'll start. I'll pop my phone on. We'll see how busy it is. I noticed last weekend there was like 3 or 4 yard sales. It was really busy. I don't know if it'll be super busy because it's the Easter weekend, but everyone's off on a long weekend. You just never know. We live on a road that has a lot of traffic, so it's not too bad. I think we'll get people, because we do have a lot of stuff to get rid of. I have a shed full of junk that definitely needs to go. I also have a bunch in the garage and a lot of big stuff. I want to get stuff moved out. We have a shed that we bought at Home Depot. I don't know how big it is. It's like just a 10 by 10 or something, but I want to get it all cleaned out on the one side. We have our camping gear on the one side, and then I want to put a bunch of stuff in on the other side so I can just have the garage space back, because it is way too cluttered. I can hardly move in there, and you know how it is with life, hockey bags and, you know, lawn equipment and all this shit. Like, there's just not enough room. I need a big garage or something. Put a little countdown. I'm gonna be up at 5 in the morning. I'm sure none of you guys will be, unless you're early birds like me. Maybe you will, Steve. I know you're up always early, guy. But again, you'll probably be out at the flea markets, and I won't see you anyways. I hope everyone's having an awesome day. I don't mean to rant on this, but these thrift stores, they're gonna die, guys. The birth of online home auctions, like you could sell your stuff on a whatnot. Why take it to these friggin' places? Honestly, you can put your shit on eBay, you can yard sale it, you can sell it any avenue online, whatnot, you know, Poshmark, Etsy, all this crap. You know, there's so many avenues for people to sell stuff. Like, and even Facebook Marketplace has just been dominating things. I have a feeling these places are going to end up going tits up at some point. It really won't bother me that much, other than hanging out with friends. There's not a huge purpose going to them anymore, and that's just specifically to my area. You guys are probably killing it depending on where you are. I'm sure some people are, but these places are a joke, man. They really are. And if they die, I really don't give a shit, honestly. I could care less anymore. I do hope the mom and pop ones and the charity thrifts ones stay open, obviously, and make a go of it. I really do. But like, you know, Savers, Value Village, Toledo, I don't give a shit about those anymore. It's such a ripoff. Like, don't know how anyone can justify it. I'm gonna quit ranting. This video is probably way too long. I hope you enjoyed coming on the walk for me. If you want to see any more walking commentary, you can let me know in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. I love doing videos. It's a really fun little hobby. I'll see you in the next one.